Since so many of you enjoyed tuning in to my podcast, aka the Prom Podcast from the hit movie Prom, I'm going to be answering 2 questions from 2 lucky winners. Alright, let's see what Alice asks. Hi, I'm currently trying to make my own movie, but I'm struggling with capturing a specific group of people. Been there, done that. What was the target audience for Prom, and how in the world were you able to engage with them? Great question, Alice. Anyway, to answer, our film was aimed towards a teenage and young adult age group, and specifically people who enjoy slasher movies, horror movies in general. Despite having a sort of unrealistic plotline, or at least one that doesn't happen to the day-to-day person, we were able to engage with them. I'm just going to state the obvious to get it out of the way, but being teenagers ourselves, we could easily capture the attention of fellow teenagers. There's also a surrounding feeling of jealousy within Veronica in the entire film, which, by the way, Veronica's our killer, if you had heard from our last one. But anyway, jealousy is a very common feeling amongst teenagers. Not only that, but there's obvious rivalry. I mean, come on, the killer is literally killing the prom queen just for the fact that she's, the prom queen. Anyway, most teenagers and young adults can't relate to actually killing someone, but they can relate and reflect on moments where they might have wanted to sabotage someone else, or at least feel resentful for someone that had something they didn't, or looked a certain way that they couldn't look, and it's all jealousy. We also use cinematography as a whole to help create a connection through viewers and the characters on screen. Like, an example was a prom. There were multiple close-ups during the bathroom scene of her eyes. Though, this alone, we were able to build tension and make the viewers feel some sort of discomfort and anticipation as their focus is forcefully put on a certain aspect of our character. The reason we did a close-up on the eyes is because through a, psychological standpoint. Man, I really messed that one up. Anyway, this is because through a psychological standpoint, you can tell a lot about what somebody's feeling or thinking through their eyes. Another example of using cinematography for engagement purposes was our second to last shot, which was a low angle or a ground level angle. Basically, the viewers were forced to look up at the main character, which effectively made them feel weak and powerless compared to the looming character. It's intimidating and belittling when somebody towers over you in real life, obviously, and that's the feeling we wanted to achieve within the audience, which thankfully we did. Anyway, Alice, I feel like my response is getting a little too long and we want a little more time for the other person. But for the last words I want to say to you is, we also had a phone ringing in the beginning, which is, relatable, I guess. It's a great way to engage the audience. This was relatable because every day somebody gets a phone call, and by including a real life and common Foley sound, we were able to create an atmosphere of realism, give somebody the feeling and paranoia like, wow, this can actually genuinely happen to someone. Chances are low, but it's never zero, am I right? Anyway, the next person I'm going to take in question from, let's see, Chelsea. All right. Chelsea asks, what am I planning to do once the movie is finished? Am I going to stream it anywhere? If so, what is the plan to have that happen? Great question. And I actually thought this out a lot. So props to me and you for asking. As a director of Prom, I personally decided that the entire movie, once it is finished, Netflix and Amazon Prime Video will be streaming this film. These 2 streaming services are the biggest and most used, which would mean having our film be watched there not only equal tons of revenue, but an even bigger fan base. They're pretty much the big leagues, and they're calling, and I'm answering. But of course, there's a lot for that has to happen to catch their eye. We'd have to advertise, and I mean billboards, posters everywhere, trailers, web banners, merch, you name it. Then we'd have to have our movie play at theaters for 4 months. That's right, 4 months. Veronica kills a total of 4 people in the film, so 4 months only seems right. And plus, we have to stand out, and if we want people to go to have an experience, they need time to actually have it. Then, finally, we'd hit the big leagues. We'd have Netflix and Amazon Prime Video requesting our movie to be at their platform. Then finally, once we accept, people worldwide would want to watch our movie, having it be easily accessible. Anyway, Alice and Chelsea, I hope I answered your questions in the way that you wanted me to, because I did in the best way that I could. I hope you guys stick around to find out some more things on our movie. Bye! See you later.